Yo, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another market trading recap. Today we're going to jump into a trading recap of today, the first trading day of June. And I honestly had my ass handed to me today. We did lose $700 and it was really a interesting kind of game mentally for me going into this trading day. So it's crazy, bro. Like, I had setups in my head. You know, I wanted NVIDIA puts. I wanted Microsoft. I wanted NVIDIA calls. I wanted Microsoft puts. And I literally signaled all of them to my chat yesterday. If I would have took 0DT NVIDIA calls today, would have made 700% with $2,000 in buyer power. Would have been $14,000 in the green. On Microsoft puts did over 500%. If I would have took $2,000, I would have made $10,000 in the green. And I was honestly just contemplating a lot of these positions. I don't know. I woke up like as if I was a beginner. I was just fearful, very doubtful with my trades. Like my first couple of trades I took, they were low capital. I wasn't feeling as confident. I was like feeling a little bit iffy. You know, I took one trade here early morning, SPY puts. I noticed, you know, we're up at the 756. Pretty high elevated level for a market open. You know, just on Friday we closed at 757. So I was expecting a little bit of an bought market and we were going to tend to sell off here. Nope, she ended up ripping to new all-time highs, setting new records at 760. But in the early morning I did catch that quick little put, and these puts right here did make me over 60% from 643 over to 659. And then my second trade of the day was over here with, it's interesting that I marked this out. I guess not. Oh yeah, I did. It's right there. My second trade was this Microsoft one, and this one made me 66%. And we did 66% in 701 to 704. So in 3 minutes, we were able to make 66%. Let me guys and show you guys these right here. So there's the 62% to make $66. I was playing super low capital. I played $105. That's not the typical Jerry. I'm more of a $400, $500, $700 kind of hand a guy, you know. I go pretty big because I'm very confident in my trades. And realistically, I had this momentum. I was green on 2 trades. I went red on 2 trades as well. And those ones right here, these SPY puts, I went again in SPY puts and I got completely obliterated, minus like 40%. And then I was kind of messing with my head right here. I was just very doubtful, you know, feeling like every trade I was going to take was going to go wrong. And I kind of noticed this today, and I was like telling myself, you know, like, how could I have done better? And it was just really kind of like, I don't know. I feel like the fear of losing the capital was really getting to me. You know, on Friday we did take that loss for, what was that? Like -1. On Friday, right before June started, I took a big loss right here. Actually, on May 9th, I made $900. But May 28th and May 28th combined, that 942 and 703 that I lost at 1.6K day, that day really messed me up. And I know that my way of trading, right, my total portfolio value is currently like at around $2,000. So if I were to risk, let's say $700, $1,300 on one trade, there goes half of the portfolio. So I was very conservative at the beginning, tricking my mind to think that, hey, I'm gonna scale $100, $300, just taking $100, $200 trades, trying to make $300 today. And that was my initial goal. But at the end, I just was like, forget this, like, what am I doing? I need to go big and scale bigger capital. And this mindset right here alone was what kind of set me up on this trap, because then I didn't want to be wrong. You know, I had 2 winners, 1 loss. I was 2 for 3, and then I went ahead and went big. I went big on some Tesla calls, and I caught a really good move. When I first entered calls, we were down here at the initial entry. I entered right here at this big dip. So let's go ahead and put this into full screen here, and I'll explain to you guys my kind of psychology here. So first, we noticed Tesla was in this oversold trend, reaching the bottom. You know, she drew down heavily. Let me show you guys this entry next. I might even have it charted wrong correctly. But this is the loss right here. 549. We got smoked for 70%. And this was a lot of data and just kind of being stubborn of not letting it go. That was another component I feel like I could have done better, just accepting my loss and literally letting my losers burn. So I closed at 11.12. Damn, I was holding the bag, man. Sheesh, look at how much of that trading day we were in. Close at 11.12, and then we were initial entry on Tesla buys were, let's bring this up real quick. Make it quick, Jerry, come on. Initial entry was at 7:40 a.m. So a little bit past this right here. Right here is when I entered these calls. So I drew down, I was negative, and I initially entered these calls based on this level here. You see the support kind of hold up now after the overselling. Here's the downtrend. Oversold scenario. You know, we opened up at 428. Now we're down at 421. After that, we drew down even further to 418, 419. And I was negative around 60%. And then it began. It began to turn bullish. And it pushed up. And I was able to catch a peak right here at 424. But at 424, when I should have exited, I was up. I was up around $570. I told myself I should take profits. I should take profits. It was about an 80% return. And for some reason, you know, being in this kind of oversold territory, look at what was happening at 740 with SPY. Look at these aggressive buys at 740. 740 shot right up, sold off, and then later on, look, 756, 8 a.m., 8:11 a.m., 8:13. Look at this God candle right here. 1 minute candle, by the way. 8:30 all the way from 756.16 all the way to a high 757.22. That God candle right there, I expected, you know, Tesla to reflect some of that. Tesla to catch a little bit of that bid. Look at this, 8:29. And sure enough, we did. We kind of caught it right here towards the end, but that was just the end. That was the first push up that we got. But look, that didn't stop for SPY. SPY continued to run up. At 10:33, look at where Tesla's at. Tesla was not moving. It was down here at this bottom. And it didn't, even when we did catch this final top of Tesla, look at how much it was moving up. But every drawdown that SPY had, Tesla was having it. Look at this drawdown. At 12:27, same spot where Tesla's at, beginning to draw down. So the pushes towards the upside, Tesla wasn't catching that with SPY. But the drawdowns, that was being affected by SPY. So we're picking up on a lot of the selling off correlating to SPY, but not the buying pressure correlated to SPY. But seeing these aggressive buy candles was why I was holding the trade for so long, because I was like, you know what? Tesla's going to catch a bid. We're going to clear 425. My break even's at 423. We'll clear it. And realistically, when I was in this trade, I wanted to sell and take profits because I noticed, just like my last trade, you know, resistance. Look at that level right there. Boom, down, same thing, boom, down. So I knew this area was a hot zone to hold through. And I was willing to take that risk just because 425 was right here. If we would have went for 425, I would have had a $1,300 day today. So I would have went from 500 to 1,300 and maybe the other split $1.50 that we needed to get to 425. And that right there was the move that I was expecting, but I just kept holding, and I watched her go negative 400, negative 300, negative 200, negative 400 until the very end at 11:20 when I sold for minus 400. So I guess the lesson of today, right? I was reflecting on this a lot, and I was like, you know, a scared mindset will never perform to the best of its ability. You know, when you're afraid and you're doubtful in your own trades and you're not feeling too confident, I wouldn't say don't trade, but for sure, you know, if you're going to play light capital because you're not confident, stick to that same light capital for the remaining of the day. Don't go big, you know. If you catch maybe 2-3 small capital wins, don't think you're going to catch the fourth one with a big win as well when you go higher capital, you know, just because you have that momentum. That was something that happened to me. You know, I caught the SPY puts, Microsoft puts at the beginning of the morning. I was kind of on a little one. I was feeling good. and I was like, you know what, I could push this, I could go for higher, and I did want to, you know, make some good returns. I wanted to walk away with a $500 day, you know, $1,000 day to break free. You know, I want to move the portfolio into the 10K range so I can now begin to allocate 2,000 per position, you know, 1,500 per position more comfortably, and create more generous returns. You know, once you're trading with $1,000 in a position, hey, 30% is very doable, and I can prove that to you guys. You know, if you guys are here in the Discord, you'll see that we, you know, borderline shit out 30% every single trade. So that's a cool 300 bucks. 300 bucks for 5 trading days times 4 weeks, bro, that's 20 days. That's $6,000 a month. That's a good side income on top of, you know, your business, on top of your job, on top of your side hustle to start bringing home. And that's kind of been my goal, you know, get to this 10K position, invest 1K, and begin to flip this account to 100K and document it all on YouTube. But it hasn't been a beautiful ride, bro. After taking that 1.6K, my confidence was really, you know, impacted, and I was beating myself up because all of my positions played out. You know, I had Microsoft puts in my watch list. I had Nvidia calls on my watch list. I had AMD puts in my watch list. That one went ahead and played out after hours in the little bit towards the third quarter of the market. Tomorrow, you know, I do feel a little bit more confident. Like, I'm coming to realize that, like, to make this back, like, I do need a full port and go all, like, you know, the remaining buying power of the 1,400 in. So tomorrow I will be trading with 1.4K all in one position, and that's what I'm gonna try to use to bounce back. I'm gonna try to clear maybe like roughly 50% return on 1,400, try to walk away with a $700 day to offset what we did today. If I could hit 100%er, that'd be great. But I'm looking for more Google calls today. Berkshire Hathaway and Warren Buffett disclosed I think a $50 million position in Google. So I do look at Google to the upside. I'm watching Microsoft and Meta going into tomorrow as well. These guys got extremely sold off. Over the weekend, we had an announcement of a secret kind of hint of a partnership between Nvidia and Microsoft that I think could make the both catch a bid. You know, Nvidia caught a bid today. Maybe Microsoft has its time to shine tomorrow. The other one that I really am looking at is Meta. Meta today was trading at around 620, and later on got dumped to the low 600s, currently trading at 600. These Meta puts, I was watching them and I missed that move, but I'm very bullish on Meta, especially around the 600 level. She's been notorious for holding this level, so I'm hoping 600 could retain as a support once again. You know, you've seen crazy moves. Meta go from 600 to 617 in a day, 600 to 608 in a day, 601 to all the way to 616 in a day. So being conscious of these moves and the potential behind Meta, I do think that around this 600 level could be a good place to probably take some swings. You know, that was another component too in my mindset. Instead of going for zero DTEs, like I've been playing so aggressively looking for this quick return, like maybe just taking out some swings. Like a lot of people out there just take swings and they make very good money swing trading. You know, zero DTEs are where, hey, that's where the apex predators of high risk trading are at. You know, those guys, we go for 80%ers, 100%ers, 200%ers, 700%ers. My Nvidia calls today, zero DTEs, look at what they went and did. I don't think there's a lot of swings that could potentially make you this kind of return. You know, it's very, very rare that you're going to see a swing potentially make you that in such a short amount of time, right? This was 700% in profit in just one day. My Nvidia 220 calls June 1st. That thing banked, bro. And if I would have put my 2K that I had initial buying power and made the 700% that the rest of those contracts did, I would have had $14,000 in the green plus my 2K, $16,000 total net profit. Chilling. I would have been amazing. And that would have been a much more entertaining, much more, yo, we're pushing these 2-3K days. And, you know, that's when I really noticed, like, for beginners, for traders that, like, are scared or just getting into it, like the normal individuals that don't believe it's real, like, once you are posting on social media making 2,000-3,000 a day, like, you're hitting people on their head. Like, they're wondering, what the fuck is this guy doing? And I've seen, you know, even back when I was trading with $50,000, $60,000, $30,000 positions, like, I've seen my audience be very responsive to, you know, 2-3K days, because it's abnormal. You know, a lot of 23-year-olds, like, bro, it's probably the toughest time of your life, 17 to 25. You know, maybe you picked up on a career and it didn't come out to be what you wanted to. Maybe you're stuck working a job that doesn't really pay you too much. Like, figuring out the financial side is pretty tricky at this young in the age. So to watch, you know, someone young or even just traders pulling in 3K, 4K, 17K days, like, it's pretty mind-boggling. So trying to get back to that level, because at that level, SoCal Trading Group could just grow substantially. Like, it wouldn't be as hard to grow the group anymore. The credibility factor wouldn't be a problem. And with my page being, you know, deleted from 2,000 followers, now starting back up with just 200, it's a bit of a challenge to get back up to those, you know, I have 10x left to go. And the credibility factor, you know, when doing outreach on my business, which is another component of this channel that I want to make, the outreach side, like actually growing a business, like actually being young, putting yourself out there, you know, asking people, do they want to support your business, dealing with rejection, dealing with no-shows, dealing with, you know, window shoppers, dealing with, you know, individuals that say you're too cheap, dealing with individuals that say you're too much. Like, that's a cool journey in life. Like, it's an infinite number of people that are alive out here that you can ask, and just pushing as a young adult to, you know, deal with that rejection or find those people that are interested. It's a badass journey, and I want to share as much as I possibly can on my perception on the things that I did to grow SoCal Trading Group now to 104 members in less than 8 months, to hopefully help someone else out there. You know, maybe your business isn't in coaching or in trading, but it could be in detailing or, you know, some other small business. But outreach, growing your business, when you first grow something, people aren't going to show up, oh wow guys, he opened a business, let's go ahead and support him. Like, no bro, it doesn't work like that. You have to go and put in the work and ask, knock on doors, and some of them will be answered. So that journey is one that significantly has shaped me and changed me over the course of the last, you know, year and a half. And I do want to document it and share it, because I do have very high hopes that SoCal Trading Group can be something very big one day if I grow it and manage it correctly, and hopefully don't get deleted by these social media platforms, right? But I want to be able to document this, so hopefully one day, like a young buck like me, that, you know, doesn't matter if you're going through it, if you had a lot growing up or didn't, like, it's possible to build something for yourself. And I just want to be able to document that for inspirational purposes, because I wish I had those examples growing up. So other than that, you know, that kind of recaps the trade. Little quick video I wanted to share just to post the content, you know, stay onto the YouTube grind. I'm putting up a lot of these market recaps for you guys, sharing as much as I potentially can to just provide you guys a little bit more insight to these entries and exits. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching. Jerry Trades at SoCal Trading Group, over and out.